Hello and welcome to Therapy Get You Some. This episode, as I promised, was going to be in honor of Pride. I'm giving the platform to my cousin, Cabrini Snyder. Cousin, this is your show. Whatever you want to talk about, it is going to be all you. How are you today?
Hey, cousin, I'm good. Wait, let me just fix this. It says that the meeting is being, Lord. All right, y'all, hold on. Let me get it together. Oh, it's this way. That's why. Okay, continue. Okay. Hey, everybody. Cousin, thank you so much for inviting me to your platform, to your podcast home. Um, this is exciting. It's going to open up a whole new uh, way of existing, I think, after people experience our conversation together today.
Oh, I love
So,
it. I love it. So, I always start off by asking my guests to tell me what is not on your bio. The things that are unique for you, that make you you, but that you will not put on a traditional bio. So give us some of those things.
mm, well, let's see. I think a lot of times when a bio is written, it's usually the glamorous things that people want everyone to see and hear and admire about the person. But then the real person steps out, and Lord have mercy. Well, let's see. I'm actually very shy. People would be like,
You see
exactly.
my
See,
face? We're gonna have to come up with another
contraire.
word.
Believe
Okay.
I really am, and it's yeah, and it's not until I'm in a room and I become comfortable. But for the most part, I act, and you'll find that a lot of people that are in front are actually shy.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Mhm.
I've been to jail. Yes, I have. I've walked the line, honey. Luckily, it was not because it was not because of a criminal activity. Although, well, I owned a bar. I owned a bar for
Just give us
women.
the story. Give us the story because we
Girl,
gotta hear this one.
I, owned a bar, a liquor bar for
Okay.
women, and I was selling alcohol under the pretense that I had a 1 day pass to sell alcohol.
Hmm.
Well, the girl that came with the pass was it was bogus, child. And, it's kind of like fake news. It was not real. I
Mm.
thought it was real. I thought it was real almost to the point where I'm telling you, I'm on Third and La Brea in the most prominent Orthodox Jewish neighborhood
Hmm.
with the doors wide open, beautiful little club with all these gay women coming in and out with a full bar, the bar filled with all this alcohol. And here I am selling it with my very prominent 1 day pass.
Okay.
That was fake.
That was it.
So, child, the popo
Call the
came running through
popo though.
there, and girls, people be mad. Black people, a black woman over there being successful with all these doctors and lawyer black women that are gay coming in there, and they make a phone call. There's
Oh.
a problem. She could not possibly have a real license.
And the sad part was you did not possibly have a real license.
She did not.
You did not. Okay, so
So she went to jail for 3 days and had to walk the line.
oh, three
I mean,
days.
I got the drawers and everything. Girl, I got the drawers and
Oh no.
and the shoes. And
Oh, they took your clothes.
girl, don't get the draw. Oh, I got the drawers. Yeah, when you get the drawers, that means you have gone to jail.
Yeah, you had to
So
stay.
that part, yeah, that part is not in my bio.
Now the world
Although
knows though. Look, now the world knows,
now the world knows.
but I could see why that did not make it to the bio. But that definitely is a unique story. Right.
Yeah,
And then, like you said, the backstory was you were just trying to provide a service that was needed to the
yeah,
community. Right.
yeah, yeah,
And in doing so angered somebody enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 But I again, when you're doing things with a great intention, if someone tries to pull you down, and they do, it does not mean you have to stay down. Because I
Right.
rose right back up and opened up the wall and made my place even bigger. So
Oh, okay.
and
Talk about
then
the
and then
comeback.
turned it. and then turned it into Cabrini's Coffee Bar.
Okay, so now no more alcohol was being served?
Of course it was,
Oh,
but it
okay.
wasn't with the letter. It wasn't on the bar like that.
Oh,
Now,
okay. It was just
now
served
I went.
differently.
Now I went straight up New Orleans. I said, "What kind of daiquiri you want?
Okay,
What kind
okay,
of smoothie you want? What you want in it? That
okay.
kind of thing."
So it was no
Yeah,
more on the wall liquor. It was now under the
right.
counter. If you know, you
Basically,
know. If you know, you
if
know.
you know, you know. Right.
Okay.
So it was a beautiful live jazz venue. It's called Cabrini's Jazz Alley, and I've had some of the most amazing musicians that are out of Los Angeles that would come and grace my stage. And one most important event we did was for Katrina. I did a 24-hour jazzathon. So the doors were open for 24 hours, and we had musicians, Layla Hathaway, Michelle Indigiocello, um, Sandra Book, who actually coordinated it, Sweet Baby J, Thelma Houston, Thelma, wait a minute. Oh, Jesus, she's from New Orleans, Lord, tell me her name.
I'm
I'll
not.
think of it later, but she's from New Orleans, and she also graced the stage. So it was a beautiful, beautiful venue.
So that
So
that sounds wonderful. I don't recall that time because Katrina is such a blur for me. But that sounds
yeah,
wonderful. And 24 hours of jazz, that had to be wonderful. That
it
had.
was amazing. Yeah.
So that take us into your actual bio. Go ahead. Take a couple of minutes and just pump yourself up for a minute. Give us the highlights.
Okay. So good thing is that it would take more than a couple of minutes, but I'll give a highlight. But I remember your father saying that I needed to uh, trademark my DNA-E. DNA-E is a DNA entrepreneur. That means it's in my blood. So it has always been in my blood to own and or operate a business, not knowing that it was being an entrepreneur. The
Hmm.
word, the name, the phrase entrepreneur was not prevalent even when my father, being an entrepreneur, was doing what he was doing. We
Right.
didn't know that's what it meant. So I left New Orleans at 19, came to Los Angeles with $300, a suitcase, and a dream.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know what the dream was. I always tell people, well, I don't know what the dream was. A dream at the time was just to come to Los Angeles. There was no formulated dream.
Hmm.
I allowed the universe, I allowed God to guide me. And so I ended up opening up the first complete cookery, which was a catering company I created out of my home
Okay.
to sell lunches to people in their office. This is before anybody was doing this back then.
Hmm.
I'm selling 5-course meals in delivering it, right? Imagine that.
So
There
like
was no
this is
delivery back
pre
then.
Uber Eats and pre DoorDash. Like you're bringing the food to us.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
the key caveat was that I didn't have a car.
Okay, now you're gonna have to break that down too, because that's what you said God was guiding you, right?
So I put an ad in the paper. I said, if you got a car, you need a job, and you got insurance, I'm going to hire you,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
And you're going to deliver the food. So I made handwritten menus. And so I had my first interview with the guy. He came in, he was a lovely white guy. He had a car, he was all excited. I think it was just so untraditional what I was doing that the day I was to deliver, I would make 20 meals a day. I
Okay.
said, okay, my goal is to do 20 meals a day. So I had 2 office buildings that I would go to. One was in Beverly Hills and one was in Inglewood. Those of you that are from Los Angeles knows that that's opposite ends of the world. I don't know
Okay.
what the hell I was thinking. Clearly, I was not thinking.
Hmm.
The day comes, I have 17 orders ready. Tell me what you think he did.
No showed.
No show.
Okay.
What am I going to do? I got 17 meals.
You getting on the bus for 17 meals?
Girl, no, I went to the neighbor next door and I knocked on the door. I said, Miss Helen, can you take me and deliver my food to these people? And now, mind you, this is when the Young and the Restless child, she was like, I said, okay. until I get a car, I will feed you and fill your car up every day. And that's how Complete Cookery started. So there was Complete Cookery. There was Cabrini's famous hot wings and fries. There was Cabrini's Catchy Kitchen. There was the Lofty Dog. There was the Lofty Dog's house. There was Cabrini's spot, Cabrini's coffee bar, Cabrini's Jazz Alley. There was NOLA's, A Taste of New Orleans, that was in the Arts District, and it was a full-on supper club with live jazz 7 days a week.
I'm trying to count out how many businesses are we at yet?
At least 10. Now, these are full brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
These are built with me, built by hand, so to speak. The structure is there, but I actually went in and did much like my father did with A Touch of Class.
Mm-hmm. Did the whole build
So
up.
that's one
That's the highlight, but
snippet of
you
it.
missed one piece because you're also an author.
Right. Then I authored a biography, if you will, of all of these stories, and talked about the journey of just basically never giving up, the journey of finally understanding common knowledge. Things happen all the time, T.H.A.T.T, in life and in business. So I would teach people how to do what they want to do. Stop doing what you don't want to do, because things are going to happen anyway. So why spend all this time at a place that you don't want to be because you don't know who you are or what you want? Take the time. Say F that. I don't know if I can say fuck that
Well, you
on
said
here,
it, so
but
go with it. Go with it, and then you got to show me the shirt because
so that
I'm looking at the shirt.
oh
Okay,
yeah.
so I have the visual now. You took the
Yeah.
you out because you're trying to be proper, but finally understanding
Yeah.
common knowledge that things happen all the time, and we're gonna just say
T.H.A.T.T.
TT, and you just
Mm-hmm.
said fuck that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not gonna do anything I don't
So
want.
so here's the other right.
Okay.
It's a neologism, right? So what but a lot of times I didn't know what a neologism was until I decided I wanted to use this word that is used for profanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, how can I take this word that is profane and turn it into something that people say all the time and make it positive? So that when you say fuck that, you're saying it because you're going, fuck that, I'm going to do what I want
Right.
and not what I don't want.
How did you come up with that kind? I mean, I love it, like love it. And you're right, we say it all the time, and usually in response to something that you're telling me that I don't want to do.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
generally when that's gonna come out, just a natural response. But how did you come up with that?
Um, I had just closed my last business. Fuck that. I'm close. And um, so I was at a neighbor's house and I said, guys, I wanted to be a speaker. And I wanted to get on a stage and I wanted to do public speaking and I wanted to teach people. And I said to the guys, I said, hey, I said, if I did a keynote or became a public speaker and on stage I was saying, it was about saying, fuck that, would you guys come? And they said, absolutely. Of course, everybody was cheering.
Right.
But then for me, though, it did not have the meaning yet.
Okay.
I knew what it meant, but at the time, there was no neologism behind it. There was no changing the name and giving it a positive meaning or different, changing the name and giving it a new phraseology to it.
Mm-hmm.
So my partner and I were sitting, she and I have been together 22 years. And so this year. So we're sitting and we're going through this thing. It's 2013. And I said, I just wanted to have a meaning. I just need, I can't just go up there saying, fuck that, because people are just not going to, it just won't resonate.
Right.
Because now I'm just using a profane word on the stage.
And we would have liked it.
So she says, I know.
We would have liked it, but I like that you decided to have deeper meaning. We would have been there with you because we understand.
Right.
We understand it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, I know. Finally understanding common knowledge. things happen all the time. And at that time, it was only things happen all the time with a T,
Mm-hmm.
not two T's. So to make it authentic, we added the T.
Gotcha.
Things happen all the time.
And so it
So
was actually a collaborative approach. So we got to give her credit because it wasn't all you.
absolutely.
It wasn't all you, but I first heard it from you. So I'm still going to give you a little bit more credit because you're the first person, and it resonated so much with me. So, like I said, it's something we've always said. It's always flown off our tongue, but the way you shaped it was life changing. So I
Yeah.
want you to talk more about because obviously it was something that you changed first before you could tell it to others. Where
Right.
did the shift happen for you?
You mean when did I say fuck that?
Yes.
When I closed my last business, having gone through, it was a doggy daycare. And it was called the Lofty Dog House, your dog's home away from home. And it was our second one. The first one had 7,000 square feet. It was a indoor dog park with an outdoor field, and it's absolutely beautiful. The owner ended up selling the warehouse, so we had all these clients. So we had to take them to another. I felt responsible to
Mm-hmm.
take them to another location. In hindsight, the $25,000 he would paid me, I would have waited to find out how to do something else because it wasn't enough clients to sustain another huge build out of a 5,000 square foot place and opening up another daycare and to redirect
Mm-hmm.
all of these high end clients to Skid Row because the new location was in Skid Row.
Okay.
So that was another challenge. So things happen. It's in the book, y'all. Y'all get the book. The
Where's
story
the
is in the
book? Wait,
book.
tell me where can we get? I know where to get the book. I know where I got my book, but where? Tell them where to get the book.
Well, they can get the book off Amazon,
Okay.
any platform, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's anywhere books are sold. If you want a signed copy, you can always email me, or I'll give you. I'll have all my information here, and I'll sign the copy. And with a signed copy, you just might get a T-shirt that says "Fuck that." And yeah, so that's when I say "fuck that." You know,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with that same business and having the owner of the retail space owe $500,000 to the building, and the people in the building hating me because I'm the retail that came in that he wasn't supposed to have. So there's backstory to
Right.
whenever you're doing a brick and mortar, and all these. I had gotten burnt out and tired, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do something else. I wanted to teach people what I learned through my failed successes, how to not do it. And so I went on this journey to find out how could I be a public speaker. So I said I wanted to uh, be on stage with Les Brown.
Okay.
Have you seen that one yet?
I have not seen it, but I did know you did it.
So so again, my partner, who is the wise one, they say behind every great man there's a woman, where behind every great woman there's a greater woman.
Okay.
How about that? Boom, boom.
Yes.
So she says, well, Cabrini, you should actually go into Les Brown's teaching, have him, coach you.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, well, you know, uh, I don't know if I started thinking, where am I going to get $10,000 to go and speak with Les Brown, right?
That part. Mm-hmm.
So, so I said, well, let me call my friend Shameen. Shameen is also a New Orleans. I think she was born. I don't even is Shameen from New Orleans? I think she is. But anyway, she has New Orleans in her soul, honey.
Mm-hmm.
So Shameen Clark Holmes, she was friends with Les Brown.
Okay. 6 degrees of separation.
Candice, Candice, she had just got off the phone with him.
All right now.
So remember, I told you I'm letting God guide me. I have this
Mm-hmm.
trust account, right? So Shamin says, Cabrini, Les said he will come to my event because she was launching her business called Master Connectors, where she connects people. Huh, here we are. So she says, what I'll do is I'll have Les teach you from the stage,
Okay.
right? Well, she says, but we're not gonna tell him what he's gonna be teaching you. We ain't gonna tell him what you're gonna be saying. Well, when I got on stage to introduce Cabrini's law of fuck that, and I'm walking up and down, doing my introduction. It was actually, and this is one conversation that you guys are going to hear first, because I've not publicly shared it, and I don't know whether or not this is not to shame anyone. It is just to say to anyone that has been shamed by anyone that you revere or you think is God-like, that you hold true to what you believe. Do not let them sway you. So because Les Brown thought that saying fuck that was inappropriate, and because he said to me very clearly, you have the it factor that I have to teach people to have. You have it, but you cannot use that language, he says to me.
Okay.
So, of course, I cried and I thought, I knew I shouldn't have did it, and I went through my thing. And then I realized, I said, wait. It wasn't until we got off stage and he started saying, fuck that to me, in the language in which he told me I should not say, and that he never says it around women.
Okay.
I said, okay, well, Cabrini, there you have it. There's a way in which people see, here's the thing. He could not say to me how he could help me because I had what he teaches other people.
Right. And what I'm hearing you say is that was the time to apply the law of fuck that, because something happened, but something's always going to happen. Something is always, and the fact that we can't control life is what I take from fuck that.
Yeah.
Is you just better live, because something's gonna happen either way. So you just better live.
And do what makes you happy. Don't do what other people what doesn't make other people happy. And I think we've done this so much in our lives that we've been the kind of people that want to please you so much that I've forgotten how to please me. I don't know how to please me. And so when I would have my clients and I'm coaching them, I say to them, what do you want? Say fuck that, what you want. And they would get stuck.
And
but if I
that happens for people. The same thing. I think that people have put themselves in such a box that the fact that happiness is right there in front of them and they can go and grab it, but they get stuck and afraid, right? But I can't do that. Sometimes it's so simple. Somebody will say, just taking a vacation would make me feel free. And I say, well, take a vacation. I can't take a vacation. Well, why can't you? I got to go to work. You have created the rules that a vacation requires you to take off of work. You could go, I'm in New Orleans. You can go to Biloxi and back in one day.
But and the other part too is that you have vacation time.
Well, most people are afraid to use it because they may need it, according to them, for something else.
Yeah. And the other question I would ask is, so tell me what you don't want. And the list,
we got that. We all have the list.
Long.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
to find what you want.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, but I want to share.
No, go ahead.
When I read your book, because you wrote the book in 2016 or 2017.
I wrote it in 2013 and self-published in 2016.
2016. So at the time I read your book, I was having my own personal fuck that moment. I started my business in 2013. And anybody who starts a business knows it takes a while to get off the ground. By
Right.
2016, I was flying. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing because I see, everything's going great. And immediately it was just like the light switched. My daughter got sick and I had to shut everything down. It was no,
Mm,
there was no, let me adjust. It was, listen, your daughter is sick, and because of her illness, you can't be around people. You have to stop everything. And that was, like when you said things happen all the time, I had some things in my mind that might happen to my business, and I, planned and prepared for those things. And you get your liability insurance because I don't want y'all to sue me. Never in the realm of my possibilities was it going to be that.
yeah. Yeah.
And I read your book during that time. Actually, I read your book in the hospital. I was in the hospital with her reading your book. And when I heard about DNA entrepreneur, I knew that's what I was. And it gave me
Hmm.
comfort to know, don't worry, you can build this back because it's in your DNA. So you don't have to be afraid that I'm going to lose everything because I'm not losing me, right? So the business might have
Right.
had to stop. And now we're gonna fast forward in 2022 and where I am today. But your book provided me such comfort to read, like you said, your failed successes and successful failures and all
Hmm.
of those things. As an
Hmm.
entrepreneur, it provided me comfort to know you can rebrand, you can regroup, you can start all the way over and do something else. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
had to share that
Yeah.
with you, and
And
not to promo your book too much, but y'all get the book. I'm telling you, it's life changing. It's life changing.
and to piggyback off of that, when any author that's out there, you start off with the excitement, much like in social media right now. We look for the likes and the shares and the comments. And,
Mm-hmm.
I found myself, because I won't say that you, but you might, I found myself
Yes. Yes.
being
I'm a human.
depressed. Yeah, being depressed that, you know, is anybody liking it? Nobody came to my book signing. And, so now I'm just like, oh, Lord. And then I got the text from, was it you that sent me the text,
It was me because I was with my
or
dad. We read
Tamika?
it. It might have been Tamika. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. One of us read it, but we were together reading the book with my dad.
And again, so you guys, not to take over her, but anyway, this is my first cousin, and her father was my uncle, and my father's brother. And Aunt Raina had 5 daughters. And again, I left New Orleans at 19. So I never got the chance to even connect with my cousins.
Mhm.
However, we were all connected, not just through DNA, but somehow through the DNA. We were connected like a child is connected to an umbilical cord,
Mhm.
because every time we would speak to each other, it was as if we knew each other. We
Right.
didn't know shit about each other. And so when she sent me the text, she says, "Hey cousin, this is Candice," and she started telling me, and now mind you, I'm reading this text of someone, because I'm not knowing who this someone is yet. I'm trying to reconnect myself, because this person is saying that, your Uncle Huey, my dad, says that you should really trademark DNA entrepreneur, and how much they love my book. Now, listen, lenders out there, there's nothing like when you are down and you just, God is always in and giving you that pump.
Mhm.
And when I got the text from you guys, it really helped me to keep going, with the fuck that movement, as it were. Yeah. So thank you for that, cousin.
Well, I definitely, and again, not that like because we're not connected, I don't call you every time I tell somebody fuck that and teach them about fuck that because it's a movement. And once you understand it and once your core aligns with it, you recognize like it just shifts your life. Because when something happens, as something will happen, if you don't learn to say fuck that and keep moving, you can become paralyzed and stuck. And so I use it as a shifter and I meditate with it. And so
Mm.
I would teach others to meditate with it, because a lot of times when we think meditation, we think, quiet and silence and I always say, no, we're gonna breathe in
Right.
all the negative stuff that's going out, coming into our world. We're gonna breathe out and we're gonna say, fuck that. And every time we say
Yeah.
that, we understand that we're saying things are
Yeah.
gonna happen all the time, but
Yeah.
that's not gonna stop us.
Right. And again, you guys, fuck that is when we talk about it as a teaching, it is a teaching because
Hmm.
there's 5 principles, there's 3 core questions, and there's 5 principles that governs this law. So it's the law of gravity, right? It is a law in that you can't change it. If you jump off this building, I'm on the 29th floor. If I jump,
Oh,
I don't care how much I meditate, the law of gravity is going to step in unless I have a parachute on. I'm going down.
right, right,
The law of attraction, the law of attraction, whatever it is you're thinking about, you will attract to you based on the feeling you have about what it is you're thinking about.
right,
It is the truth. There's no way you can change that. The law of fuck that, when you find out who you are at your core, what you want, and why you want it, and you apply the 5 principles, which is to make a decision. That's number one. To trust, oh my Lord, your decision. One of the most difficult because we're never taught to trust ourselves. We're always taught, do you trust them?
hmm,
Do you get a trust account? Everything is pointed away from you. How
right,
do I trust myself and the decision I'm making? So then you got to be focused. You have got to get focused. Right now in this time in with social media, how do you stay focused? You know,
right,
if you are, go ahead.
right. No, I was
Talk.
agreeing with you. I'm just saying, right. You are right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And force is inspired action. What does that mean? A lot of people clients ask me, well, what does inspired action mean? Well, it's not the familiar voice. See, the familiar voice have you doing the same shit you do all over and over again.
Hmm.
And as a therapist, what is insanity?
Well, that's not our definition, but the common definition is
Oh,
doing the same thing over and expecting different results. But that's
right.
also humanity. That's us as humans. We would hope that
Base.
next time it's
Right.
gonna come.
Right. That's true.
Yes.
So the inspired voice is the one that all of us have said forever.
Hmm.
I should have followed my first mind. That's your God voice.
Yeah.
That's the one that's in you, but you don't trust it. You don't know it because you've never listened to
Right.
it.
Right.
And then number 5 is the most amazing one. Is enjoy the journey. All of this that we do in life is about a journey,
Hmm.
because when you get to the destination, right? The thing that you're going to talk about is not the destination. When you get the money, you're not going to talk about the money. You're going to talk about all of the stuff you went through
To get it.
to
Hmm.
get to the very thing you wanted. So it's all the journey.
Hmm.
So that's the law. Fuck that.
And even though you've given it to us in the brief version, I'm still strongly encouraging purchase the book because you need the full story to understand it. Now I want to shift a
Yeah.
little bit from still in the same line of question, but I want to know, how did DNA entrepreneur affect your mental health? Because as a entrepreneur, we know that is a level of stress that if you're not ready for it, you better get ready for it.
That's a very, very tough one because being an entrepreneur is not for, listen, it is not for everyone. You cannot, you're not going to get a steady paycheck. You're not going to get the time off. You
Mm.
cannot get sick.
Right.
So the mental health that comes with being an entrepreneur at your core which is the DNA entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
is that you have to really have a strong, solid foundation that's going to anchor you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had to build that over these last 34 years of being a brick and mortar entrepreneur. And, the worry, the stress, oh my God. And
Mm-hmm.
and to the point, if someone were to ask me, Cabrini, what are the stresses? I have blocked them so much that it
Okay.
would take time for me to recall them because I don't want them in my subconscious anymore. I have spent the time to get them out of my subconscious because now I'm a gangster chef. Can you imagine if I allowed everything I went through
Right.
being a brick and mortar entrepreneur, business owner? If I
Mm-hmm.
allowed all of that, which it wants to creep in, I tell you, because it's familiar.
Right.
Um, yes, so it has affected, but the way that I um, uh, deal with it without having a personal therapist that I can call. The way I deal with it is through meditation. Abraham Hicks is one of the teachers that I listen to and put in my ear all the time, and Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Dr. Eric Berg when I'm doing my keto dishes and eating low carb and thinking about the ways in which I eat and drink and think, and all of that plays into the mental health.
Mm-hmm. And I like that you said, not that you recognize that it has a previous experience, but you don't let it affect your present experience. And so those things happened, they no longer are happening because you're not in a brick and mortar. So you don't have to think about those times when you were struggling to pay rent. As all entrepreneurs, again, when you have a fledgling business, you have those times. You don't let that stop you from now because you're not doing that anymore. You're able to block, like you said,
Oh, but
block it out.
don't think but it's still present. All those things still. How you gonna pay the rent? Cabrini,
Meaning
cooking,
for the
gangster
business.
chefing on YouTube.
Meaning
Huh?
for
What?
the business. Now you have to pay your personal rent. That's a different conversation. But you don't have the brick and mortar business anymore. But wait,
Well,
now
when
we
I'm yeah,
talked
it's
about the
a
hood, but you didn't
it's
tell
a
us about Gangsta Chef. Back up. Tell us
well,
about
we had got
Gangsta
girl, we hadn't even gotten there because that's a whole nother. Listen, people, I have a whole life. I have in 57 years lived a life that is probably what most people would 3 lives in 7 lives in one life, like
Chef.
full on, like So this gangster chefing, this has come full circle. So remember, I talked about me cooking early on, and
Right.
cooking has always been what I've done. Some will ask me, well, who taught you how to cook? I taught myself how to cook. My mother always cooked for every single party, every single
Mhm.
everything, but she never taught me how to cook. I watched, and it's in my DNA.
I
That's
was
what
gonna
talking
say,
about DNA.
if you're from New Orleans, not that anybody ever teaches you how to cook, but the kitchen is where we spent most of our time, and you just pick it up. Plus, it's in your DNA.
Yeah.
So, it's just something that
So
you.
I became, and again, because I'm such a great listener to what the universe is saying to me.
Mhm.
In 2018, a friend of mine was having as she always did, had a New Year's Eve dinner.
Mhm.
She buys all the food, and I'm always cooking. So this particular year, 2018, hey everybody, I'm about to be gangster chefing in my friend's kitchen. And when
Okay.
I said that, it was like, you know how the genie comes out the bottle
Mhm.
when you rub it?
Yeah.
It was like I said it out of my mouth and it came into my soul, in my spirit.
And I will tell you, the videos that I find the most entertaining, all of them are entertaining because you're so entertaining. But when you're teaching, and I don't know the person, when there's a lady, a guest that you teach how to cook, And
You
I
know,
am
that's, yeah.
tickled every time by those shows.
Her name is Del Mac.
Well, you look, you don't have to put her
Del
on
Mac,
blast, but I
where you
love
at?
it. I love it every time I'm watching it. I say, okay, she's not from here. She is not from New Orleans, I can tell.
Wait, first of all, so you know, so you're bringing me to a whole nother. If I went back and thought about everything that I love about this cooking journey that I'm on,
Hmm.
it's the teaching component. Teaching someone that does not know how to cook, that wants to know how to cook,
Hmm.
that's afraid to cook, but they want to so bad, but they've made dishes that people made fun of them, you know. So Del Mac, when I started with her, again, this was during COVID.
Hmm.
We didn't know how this was going to turn out. We didn't know. I didn't know. And every time we did one, it makes everybody laugh every time we talk about it. We would watch it and we would after the aftermath and we would laugh so hard because if I'm teaching her, I don't see what she's doing. Y'all see what she's doing.
Right.
So we'll go back and watch it. I mean, it's so hysterical. And then she turns out an amazing dish, right? Which is the point in which I do now, falling in love with yourself in your own kitchen.
Right.
Um, she she don't cook now because she crazy, but it was the experience and the joy that I got from actually teaching. So that's the component I'm going to go back to, is
Hmm.
somehow creating this teaching component for people that don't know how to cook but have always wanted to cook.
And you again, the
Yeah.
videos were so entertaining. Are they still available? Like, can I go and find them? And because I know during, like you said, we were watching it during COVID, and that may have even made them more
So
entertaining.
you guys were watching it live too?
Yes, yes.
Oh my God. So that, yes, it's on my YouTube channel, which is the Gangsta Chef's Kitchen on YouTube.
Okay. Because if
Yeah.
you have the opportunity to go and see these videos, please do and subscribe and comment. But again tickled, and it was during a time when we were, even I'm from New Orleans and I have always cooked, but experimenting in the kitchen because of COVID. Let me try to make lamb. That's not a traditional maybe New Orleans dish,
Right.
but I'm gonna try to make lamb. Of course, it's not a hard try because if you're from here, you can cook, so it's gonna come out okay. But it was entertaining to watch
Right.
someone else with no basis of understanding. And so, like you say, so,
She said, girl, when she would say, do I need to turn the water on? And I said, well, how the hell is the
yeah, again,
it
it
was the
used to
best
be, it was
time of
hilarious.
my
And so,
life.
yeah, I would suggest y'all go back and find those videos. But when you say full circle moment, what I'm hearing, especially how much you let God guide your life, when you had the calling to say, I need to be on stage to teach, and now you're teaching cooking. But all of that is encompassed under fuck that. How did all of that like just roll out for you?
I I don't know.
I love
I
that.
don't know. It,
Mhm.
I mean, look, when people say an obedient, I'm going to do it. No, 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 no. When it comes through me, it's like it's like it's like the hallelujah moment
Mhm.
because I'll do things. No, I won't do things. I won't do. I do not. I will not. I will not. I do not. Did I say I do not? I will not ever, ever do anything that does not make me happy.
Okay.
And so if it made me happy and made me excited, and just like in the book Think and Grow Rich, he says, what is your definiteness of purpose? Do what you love and the money will follow. I mean, I know the money's coming,
Mhm.
but I have not missed a beat. If I got evicted, okay, well, shit, I'm gonna wait 6 months and wait for the next thing and get the next apartment. I mean, as an entrepreneur, shit's gonna happen. You're gonna get evicted. You're gonna have to file bankruptcy. Anything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
that you could think of has happened and will happen to an entrepreneur. But just listen, there's a lot of resources out here for Black people and colored people. If you're an, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you are trying to operate a business legally,
Mm-hmm.
there are resources out there, and do not be afraid. At the same time, be prepared. You know, there was a comedian that would say this, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't want nobody coming back after me. But he would say, or people would say, just jump, just jump when you want to go do something. And I would say, absolutely fucking not. Prepare to jump.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna jump, prepare to jump. Get a good parachute. Don't just go get no any parachute. This day in 2022, if
Mm-hmm.
you are going to be an entrepreneur, prepare to jump. Get the
Okay.
right parachute. I'm telling, yes, jump,
Yeah.
but prepare.
Don't just jump and not have any plans or thought. Yeah.
You know, and nowadays you don't need no big old 1,000-page business plan or whatever. Because nowadays, listen, when COVID happened, all these restaurants that got all this money for their multi-million-dollar restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
that business plan alone did not work. It did not save them
Right.
because they were not prepared for Miss Rona, honey.
Nobody could prepare for something like that. But I want to, like, because
No,
when you
you were
think
not.
about it, a 19-year-old girl from New Orleans, and New Orleans is the smallest big town I've ever been in, or the biggest small town,
Mhm.
whatever you want to say, but it is not Los Angeles. With $300 and a dream, but not a vision.
Mm. I tell you, the only thing I can say, you know how people say, God had my back.
Yeah.
I, whatever God, I say all the gods had my back because let me tell you something, I needed all of them because I was practicing Buddhism too at the time. Um, and I was protect. I don't understand. I cannot. In this day and age, I would never tell a young 19-year-old to venture from New Orleans to come to California with $300 and an unclear dream. Oh no, 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 no,
Mm-hmm.
no, absolutely not. How did I not get raped? How did I not get, girl? Oh, another thing that was not in my bio because I didn't, I was trying to find jobs. I said, well, I'm gonna be a stripper.
Oh.
So, I'm 19 and a half. I got a nice body. I
Mm-hmm.
was, I'm 30 pounds thinner than I am now. So I go to this stripper joint called Tropicana. I walk up in there, you got to go do an interview. And their interview is you got to take your clothes off.
Okay.
The man said, drop your pants. Luckily, I would, never mind. I'm not going to put that part in.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. So did you get the job? That's what we need to know.
no, he told me my booty was too big.
See, you could tell that was a while ago because now that's all they're looking for. But we gonna
I'm
shift.
saying that to say, I'm just saying all of that to say, when you ask me how
Mm-hmm.
I did it, I'm saying to you, I was protected. And I don't know. All I know is that I was protected because I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to find my way
Right.
without knowing the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you said that would
Yeah.
not be your advice for any young
Not
person
at
today.
all.
But do you
No.
have
No
advice,
one.
not just for young people, but for entrepreneurs, DNA entrepreneur, or just I think I might be a DNA entrepreneur who are ready to understand the law of fuck that? What would be your takeaway from all of that for them?
My takeaway would be, oh, make that decision. Get a notebook, a designated notebook. Nothing else is in this notebook. It is maybe you might call it your fuck that notebook. I don't know. It is my me notebook, my notebook to myself. Make a decision. Make the decision based on the thing that you love more than anything. Then trust it. Stay focused. Hmm. Take inspired action. That's when you're getting ready to jump. And then enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey.
Well, thank
That's
you
what I would
so
say.
much, cousin, for being here with me today. This was absolutely a pleasure. Absolutely a pleasure. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.